guys, I'm so excited to be back and finish Justice League with Zack Snyder, the Zack Snyder cut. I can't tell you how excited I am. Ta-da! But there's a lot of work that needs to be done, obviously, even though I already did a lot of work. So right now I'm in the middle of finishing an action bit with the new Justice League theme, and I want to preview a little bit of that. So let me play you a little bit of that theme in action mode. That was a little sneak peek of that theme. I hope you like that, and I'm very much looking forward to see you guys soon.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Justice League Snyder Cut video. JunkieXL dropped a new clip of his version of the music, the soundtrack, with the Snyder Cut trailer. So we'll break it down. The Flash movie people also revealed new information about the movie, that they're going to be rebooting the DCEU. So I'll explain what that means too. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We'll do a new Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know what you want them to do with the new version of the DCEU going forward after the Flash movie. So we'll start with the Justice League Snyder Cut stuff first, then I'll talk about the Flash movie and the Flashpoint reboot of the DCEU. So starting with number 5, in this clip, JunkieXL references working on the new music again, quote unquote, because he had already completed a lot of it a few years ago. It sounds totally badass, as you would expect. If you are a fan of his work on Batman v Superman or the other work that he's done on other movies, it's going to sound really badass on the Snyder Cut. But what he's talking about is that back in 2017, before Zack Snyder was forced to leave the movie, he had planned to have JunkieXL do the music just like he'd done the music for Batman v Superman, so that the two movies would feel and sound very similar because they're meant to be connected, albeit adding a lot of theme songs from the other Justice League members. Like, he had to incorporate the theme songs from the other Justice League members like Aquaman, the Flash, Cyborg, in addition to the stuff that he'd already done for Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. And if we're talking about Unite the Seven, you also have the Green Lantern stuff that they had referenced too, that they were planning on doing during the movie, that we'll see play out during the Snyder Cut. But you all probably remember that when Zack Snyder left the movie, the studio, and I believe Joss Whedon, decided they totally wanted to go in a different direction with the composer and totally different take on the music. So they fired JunkieXL and hired Danny Elfman to come do the theatrical cut. He's the one behind the iconic Batman 1989 theme music and Batman Returns. He's done a bunch of other stuff, many other movies over many, many years, so you're probably familiar with most of his work. They even reused some of the musical cues from his Batman 1989 theme song during the theatrical cut. If you listen carefully, it's in this meeting scene between Gordon and the Justice League. I believe they released it online before the movie came out. It's when Batman shows up. It plays for just a couple seconds. But at that time, when they fired JunkieXL, he'd already completed a lot of work on his version of the music. So number 4, when the Justice League Snyder Cut was greenlit, of course Zack Snyder brought him back on to finish his version of the music. The big difference, though, in between what he was doing before and what he's doing now for the Snyder Cut is that back when Zack Snyder was still doing the theatrical cut, he said that the studio had forced him to keep the total runtime of the movie down to 2 hours. So the new soundtrack that JunkieXL is working on for the Snyder Cut is 4 hours long, so that's twice as much music than he was making for the original theatrical cut. It's not quite as crazy as it sounds because they reuse a lot of musical cues during different scenes, and they wind up reusing a lot of the bigger theme songs from previous movies like Henry Cavill's Man of Steel theme music or Wonder Woman's theme song that they've already done for a previous movie. The version of the Snyder Cut scene that he dropped in that clip says he's taken from one of the major fight scenes, and based on the way the music moves through the piece, it becomes really hopeful towards the end, like hardcore, but hopeful because it is JunkieXL. It sounds like it's just happening from one of the major Steppenwolf battles, either the cooling tower fight scene earlier in the movie or the big final battle at the end of the movie. Like number 3, here's a version of the theatrical cut with this big fight scene. Obviously, this is going to be very different in the Snyder cut, but there's a version of this during the Snyder cut. Here's that same clip with the JunkieXL music again, and see how much better this sounds than the theatrical cut. Isn't that totally awesome? I can't wait to hear the rest of his soundtrack. They'll probably release some of that before they actually release the Snyder Cut on HBO Max. There'll be a bunch more previews and trailers and clips for the rest of this year and early next year too. But number 2, moving into the Flashpoint movie Reboot panel from this past weekend at DC Fandome. If you didn't realize, there was also a second day of DC Fandome with a bunch more movie stuff and a bunch of the other TV stuff they didn't have time for during the previous DC Fandome day. But the Flash movie producers were talking about rebooting the DCEU during the Flash movie, which is obviously really big news. It kind of got buried in the weekend. They said through the time travel changes in the Flashpoint of it all, the movie itself will change everything we know about the DC universe, but that the new timeline won't completely forget everything that came before. And everyone's like, what the hell does that mean? Are they retconning everything? What's going on? So the producers did clarify that even though they're changing a lot of things about the DC movies going forward with Flashpoint, they're not going to completely retcon everything like the events of Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, the Wonder Woman movies, the Aquaman movie, and then never reference it again. But it definitely sounds like they're using the Flashpoint twist to creatively retune things a little bit and incorporate other new characters for future DC movies going forward. And fix any of the major issues that they have, like explaining why Ben Affleck's Batman isn't going to show up in the next Justice League movie, and incorporate some of the Shazam and Black Adam characters to the Justice Society in a bigger way, because those franchises will also be changing the landscape of the connected DC movies. So number 1, WTF, The Rock and the producers on the Black Adam movie also said that they're using the Black Adam movie to do a lot of that same work too, completely change what the DC connected movies look like. Before Justice League happened, nobody in the universe had ever mentioned the Shazam characters, and now they're suddenly a huge deal. They're all super powerful. Like The Rock was hyping up Black Adam versus the Justice League during a different movie while he was dropping the Black Adam teaser. This is the clip of him talking about that. He calls all of them on, puts them on notice.
I need you guys to help me get a message out to some of the other ones. Some of the other DC superheroes. Let's let Flash, Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. Let's let them know something. Things will never be the same, because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
So it just sounds like the Flash movie will try to fix all that continuity so that it all makes sense when Black Adam, for instance, starts showing up with other Justice League characters. But also on the other side of that, from what they're saying, if you're still wondering about people like Ben Affleck and his version of Batman, they're saying they're not totally getting rid of him, but the movie will explain suddenly why it's Michael Keaton's Batman showing up all over the place from his universe. Let me know in the comments though, if they are really using the Flash movie to alter the continuity of the DCEU, what do you want them to include in the new version of the timeline with all these connected movies going forward? I'll do more videos as they drop more Justice League Snyder Cut clips and trailers, so no worries, there'll be a bunch more of that stuff happening this year. If you haven't seen it too, The Boys on Amazon is also a really great dark Justice League parody, and I've been doing videos for that. As long as you have alerts enabled for my channel, you should see all those videos when I post them. But click here for the new Batman trailer and all those Easter eggs, and click here for The Boys Season 2 Episode 4 video with a whole bunch of really dark Justice League Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, I'll see you guys tonight.